What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back once again, y'all, to the Tuffy Talk live show. We are here and we are ready to discuss all things NC State. As you can see, among all of us, there's a little bit of a deep breath here, as we move into week 3 here. But we're excited to talk about this Notre Dame game, talk about with you, Wolfpack Nation, and our amazing followers here. If you've been with us for, the drill as always. But if you haven't, send any comments, questions, thoughts, concerns that you have in the chat, and we will get to them here today. As we're going to be discussing mostly the Notre Dame game pretty much this whole show. But again, we'll sprinkle some other things in there too. But that's obviously a big highlight for sure. But I do want to ask, because I'm obviously a little bit confused, as on Saturday, did we play Notre Dame? Did we play the number 10 team in the country, Notre Dame, or did we play Boston College or like Bethune-Cookman or something like that? Because from a lot of the posts, I mean, you think we had like a terrible loss to some nobody on Saturday. I'm not really sure. Michael Gray, can you help me clarify on that? Okay.
I think they had gold helmets.
Yeah, I think
so. It was very wet. I don't remember. It looked like a really good team, but I could be wrong.
Maybe they switched teams after the rain delay or the lightning delay.
I know. No, again, not necessarily trying to dig, but just again, that's my biggest thing is like literally for the first time ever, literally on Saturday night, I just said, all right, I'm putting away social media. Like it was just too much. Like again, I completely understand concern, and again, there's always going to be concern, and I appreciate concern. Why? Because if you're not concerned, then you don't care. I mean, like being concerned means that you care, which I appreciate. But again, it's and we'll break into it a lot of it here today. But definitely, the first thing I got to say out of it is, I mean, heading into the fourth quarter, we had an opportunity down 7 with a fumble recovery within 25-yard line. We had an opportunity in the fourth quarter to tie the game against Notre Dame. And so, like, everybody's saying we got blown out. No, I just think that we had an amazing opportunity that we just couldn't get it done at that time. And then just kind of all the air came out of the balloon. Now, I mean, is that acceptable? No, but I mean, like, it's just there's just so much that goes into it. And again, we'll unpack as much of it as we can here today. And I know we already got a couple comments here, which I want to go ahead and get to. We'll get to some of them here, but it's always good to see. Appreciate Doc tuning in. Michelle, as always, one of our amazing followers. Connor, appreciate you tuning in, my man. But let's kind of, before we get into the deep stuff here, let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's talk about some our thoughts on the new changes within Carter Finley Stadium.
Wait,
there's
something new. There was something new on Saturday.
I don't know. It broke. I mean, it broke. I mean,
we forgot that there was a lot to celebrate even in a loss, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I still had a good time. I mean, these people acted, and it just kind of, you were talking through your monologue there, and I was just thinking about, everything. We had football on Saturday at Carter Finley for the first time in 9 months, I guess, probably. My math's not good. Yeah, we lost, but I had a great time on Saturday. Obviously, if you follow social media, you saw me doing Rain Angels, and I enjoyed everything there was about it. And maybe watching a ball game from home is a little bit different, but I don't know. There's a lot to be happy for, and I mean, and I guess we'll talk about it, but there's way much more than life than a football game on Saturday, and But anyway, well, because I'm with you, Leighton. I put it away. I really basically had a 48-hour rule, and I was just didn't want it on social media because I knew everybody would be coming out of the woodworks, and the same takes we have every year after about game 2 or 3, because it always seems that there's a loss early in the season, and it's fire Dorn, and I don't know why we have these coordinators in year 10. This is the same thing, and blah 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 blah. It gets old and tiresome. And look, if you don't like it, don't watch it. I mean, don't ruin it for the rest of us. So
well, the one thing which I'll add, and Michael, I want to hear your thoughts, but I mean, I know there's kind of a question of, we need to bring in a guy who's gonna, help the program and take the program to new heights. when I'm saying here, I mean, I haven't been a State fan a long time. Again, I'm only 29 years old, but I've been a State fan long enough to remember times where we lost to Boston College, like by a nail biter. And it was like, oh man, like, man, we were really close to beating Boston College. All right, let's move on next week. Oh, Virginia. But then we lose to Notre Dame, the number 10 team in the country. And after a torrential downpour for 2 hours delay, and after have an opportunity to tie the game at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and there was fans screaming at the top of their lungs behind me going, what are we doing? And I'm like, we're this upset over barely losing, again, barely, I'm saying, to the fourth quarter to the number 10 team in the country, Notre Dame. Like, to me, that's all the signal I need to say we have obviously raised our expectations, which I love. I appreciate that. So, but I think that's a big piece of evidence right there saying there was definitely times where losing to Boston College was like, man, we lost Boston College, but oh well. And now we're losing the number 10 team in the country, and we're like, what are we doing? So Michael, give me your thoughts here, man.
Yeah, it was just such a weird game with the whole delay to start it. Like they had to start it on time because it was like almost sunny out by kickoff. And then even though the storms were coming in, but I don't know. It's hard. I got to think about the game separately from the reaction to the game.
Right.
But offensively, you had a lot of missed opportunities. I mean, the plays were there, a lot of drops by the receivers. I mean, I don't think that was the biggest thing. There were plenty of, especially in key situations, there were a couple third downs, and a couple third downs that the receivers just dropped the ball, and it would have been a first down, and you keep playing.
Well, that's the thing is that like did Brennan have some overthrows? Absolutely. Did he make some bad plays? Absolutely. But the wide receivers made drops. I mean, the offensive line played really well pass rush, but didn't really do much run blocking. Like, Anai didn't call its best game. Doran had made some questionable decisions, especially at the end of the first half. Defense obviously gave up more explosive plays than they ever did combined last year in one game alone. Like, this game is not on Brennan Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. Simple as that, folks.
It was a team loss. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. And the defense has just been, through 2 games, it's just been like when they're not giving up a big play, they're stopping the offense. And that was true against UConn and even against Notre Dame. The big plays hurt you the most, but it's like you're not allowing the sustained drives, which is good. But then some of that is you're giving up big plays on the opposite side, and they've been big.
and it's crazy too. The big plays haven't been big plays. You know what I mean? Like they're 15
the yards after catch plays.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
People getting out of position. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's not schematic. It's just performance, I guess
that's probably more frustrating, but at the same time, that's something that's fixable. It's not like, we're just getting beat deep because we don't have the speed to keep up with people.
Right.
And the other thing too, which I want to add real quick, is like, I was frustrated too, and I know a lot of fans are frustrated that Notre Dame ran the same play 4 different times where it was basically like a play action, play, and then they tossed it to the tight end. And myself and everybody was like, why do we keep falling for that? But thinking back on it, it's like, well, because we respected the run so much, because their offensive line is the best offensive line in the country, in my opinion. They're the best offensive line in the country because they are talented, they're experienced, and they've played together a lot. So, they have everything you look for, and they have a really great running back there. So, yeah, I guess I really kind of understand why they really focus so much on the run game, because their offensive line was just that good. And again, they just got burned at the beginning of the second quarter, whatever, on that 90-yard run to start off after the delay. So they're saying to themselves, I really don't want that to happen to me again. But go ahead.
That made it 17-7 at that point, or
10-3.
10-3.
That was
10-0.
10-0.
Yes.
Okay.
10-0.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was a 10-point deficit somewhere.
Yeah.
And that, man, I was worried after that, but I mean, credit to the team.
Huge gut punch.
It made it a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, kept it in it for that long.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I mean, at the end, you know, Brennan was just forcing stuff to make it happen. So
I mean, it was definitely an uphill battle all day, right? And it felt like we finally had just gotten to almost to the.
Oh,
your mic went out.
Your mic went out. Yeah. Okay. Well, and you know, because one thing too is that, you know, the thing which I will give Doran props on is that, you know, Rooks was struggling early. Julian Gray was struggling early. You know, like all these guys are struggling early. And so instead of saying, well, we're going to keep forcing these guys until they figure it out, they said, well, let's go to the young guns. Let's go to Kevin Concepcion and Javonte Vereen, who, I mean, dude, Javonte Vereen, y'all, like,
he made some great plays.
I see a little Kyle Pitts in him, man. Like that dude is, man, he can jump. He is shifty. Like, man.
Yeah, so, especially that one at the goal line where he kind of just stopped, did the 360,
so beautiful,
planted his foot in the ground, and then went. I think he went left. That was.
Man, I wish he had scored on that one, but
yeah,
he deserved that one.
Yeah,
but he's just not going to be a tight end. Like he's a wide receiver.
But again, I mean, well, again, I see him like a kind of a Kyle Pitts, where you know they could probably bulk him up and make him, you know, a blocker if need be. But you know, but like
you got options.
You got options exactly. Go ahead, Greg. I know you've been trying to chime in.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah, the browser went out on me, but I was just saying when we were climbing the mountain, when we got down there after that turnover. Our play calling probably wasn't as good as it could have been. We had a penalty in there, and then of course he missed the field goal. And like you said, that was the ball game at that point. Not to say that they gave up, but you could feel the life of that stadium just come.
Man.
And I think you know. I get why people are frustrated because, you know, they brought in a new quarterback. They brought in a new offensive coordinator. And people just think that if you do it, it's just going to come together in one full swoop. And look, we're not making excuses, but you can understand why things are the way they are at this moment. I'm definitely curious on some things, and we can talk about it now, or we can, you know, work our way into it. I don't know what your plan is, but you know, the running back situation I think is still kind of weird for us. We didn't get a lot of yards from our running back. You know, who is the running back? I think that's a thing. I think the wide receiver room, we kind of talked about it in the Discord yesterday, that I think that's just going to work itself. It's starting to work itself out through natural selection. You're seeing the guys that can and can't make plays. That rotation is starting to take shape. And then, you know, you have VMI, which is 1
offense is going to look good against them.
It's going to be a get right game on the offense. And then you're going into UVA, which Brennan will be pumped for that game. And that's a team that just lost to James Madison over the weekend. So I think the next two games, it's going to be, all right, let's get the offense right. And then you go get ready for the real part of the ACC schedule. At least that's what I'm looking at from my vantage point. I don't know. What are you guys thinking there?
Yeah, no, 100% the same thing is the fact that I just have to remind everybody once again, Notre Dame was favored by 7 to 7.5 points, depending on where you were looking. So, I mean, there was nobody expecting us to win. 96% of the public bets were on Notre Dame -7. Okay. Nobody expected us to win. And then for us here at Tuffy Talk, like besides Michael and Greg, you know, who were just going full out, you know, craziness here. I mean, like, Macon, has predicted Notre Dame, and heck, even I know for Inside Pack Sports, you know, looking at their stuff, which I mean, I'm sure it's not, you know, quiet content because it's, you know, it's over now, but most of them predicted, Notre Dame to win. You know, again, it's just an interesting moment. So I'm sitting here saying, listen, there's a lot of good that I did see in the fact that you started to see the offense click in moments. You started to see things, you know, go, and also too, you're really hoping out of this that guys like Rook, guys like Julian Gray, guys like all the Terrell Timmons, like all those guys take that game as like all right, like that can't happen no more. Like we can't rely on Kevin Concepcion and Javonte Vereen, our two freshmen, playmakers to get us out of games. That's why, like, I can't really be upset at Kevin Concepcion for that terrible drop he had that it resulted in interception. Why? Because a lot of the reason why we got to that point was because of him. Like, he made some huge plays in key moments, So I mean, am I like, again, am I okay with the mistake? No, but I mean, I can't really be too upset at him, I mean, it's a freshman mistake, So
yeah. What you're asking a freshman to be the next coming of a Heisman Trophy candidate if they're not going to make mistakes, right? Now, right. Is it a tough spot that it happened in? Sure. Like, obviously, you want that mistake
because that was a first down, and that was a beautiful throw. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. No. You're 100%. That's exactly what I was going to say. But you're hoping that these mistakes are in garbage time, if you will, and so that you can live with it. And look, when you can't rely on these other guys and you have to rely on freshmen, that's the chance you take with it. I mean, that's the good with the bad. They're going to make 2 good plays and 1 crap play, and that's what happened in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, but I think they still, have the most upside out there because, like you said, you
play your best players, right? I mean, if they're your best guys, and
at that time,
and maybe like you're saying, gosh dang it, Leighton, that these other guys will now rise, right? They're seeing that these young guys are out there, busting their humps. Maybe that becomes contagious with the rest of the different groups. If you're seeing underclassmen outperforming you, maybe you need to look in the mirror and go, maybe they're not the problem. Maybe it's on me, and now I need to take personal ownership of what I can do to help this team.
Which I do gotta ask a simple question though. What's the deal with Rosner? Why don't they play him more, or why don't they get the ball to him more? Because I saw him get that first down, and I'm like, man, that guy he's a playmaker, man.
Go ahead.
I think by the time we get to Louisville, I think he's going to be pretty much starting.
And that's kind of what I was getting at, right? Like, I think you have so many wide receivers, and you don't know who was going to step up, and you're trying to figure that out. Maybe games aren't the time to figure that out. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to, go with the hot hands in the different position groups and figure, someone will catch fire and then they can ride that. Yeah. I think you're going to see about 4 or 5 guys in the wide receiver group, and the rest of them will just be sprinkled in for a breather. Because you're starting to see through 2 games who can go out there and make plays and who can't.
Yeah. And Rosner, specifically on Rosner, I mean, he's just, he just joined the team at the beginning of fall camp. So it's been a month. So, like Greg said, I think your wide receiver room gets, once you get into all ACC play, I think it gets narrowed down to, 5 guys.
Yeah. Now, and I know that we kind of wanted to talk about the fun stuff, and we'll definitely get to some questions here. I guess we're just kind of touching on a couple of the main big, points of emphasis after the game.
You started this question with what did we think of the scoreboard?
But I just kind of went back that direction. I'm like, you know what? We'll just go with it.
Let's go back to the scoreboard, though. I think we do need to take a break and talk about something positive.
One more, Greg. One more, man.
Sir.
Come on. One more.
Got it.
One more. Just because this is, I think, is the biggest one. All right. And I don't think it should take much time for us because we've talked about this 800 times. All right. For all the put MJ in. Put MJ in, y'all. Put MJ in. Like, he will be the guy. I'm going to say this first and foremost because I really wanted to screen this out at all the people around me yelling this late in the game. We know nothing for certain about MJ Morris. We know nothing for certain. Like we know he is a great guy. We know he is a great talent. Like we know that he loves NC State, which is awesome. But at the end of the day, do we really know for sure that he is that much better than Brandon Armstrong right now? I mean, like, to me, I'm sitting here saying all of us as fans, we think it for sure. But then they have to remind everybody once again that when we saw MJ Morris last year, we saw him going against a defense that was in the bottom half of the ACC. They weren't great defenses, and we never saw him start on the road or really play significant playing time on the road. Yeah. So I'm sitting here saying, do you really want to switch from Brandon Armstrong, who's again is fifth year guy, who's played 20 probably by now 30 different games, switch from a lefty to now a righty with a guy that hasn't been probably getting most of the first team reps. Like no, and that's because once again he still has a red shirt he can go get, and so and to me I'm sitting here saying unless the coaching staff is for certain that MJ Morris is significantly better than Brandon Armstrong, which I just do not see happening, it does not make sense to burn his red shirt because there's going to be times where maybe their talent levels equal, but maybe that experience, that poise that Brandon Armstrong has gained over his years will come through for us in a couple of times that maybe MJ just can't because he's just still so young. He's still so raw, ladies and gentlemen. Like he's still learning this offense. Yeah. So that's kind of really my thing. Michael, Greg, I on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say this, and this is my MJ thought. You will not see MJ Morris until, barring an injury, something crazy, you will not see MJ Morris in a ball game until Louisville at the earliest. And I say that because it does you no good putting MJ Morris against VMI. No. You won't learn anything other than he can go out and run plays. He won't move the needle against VMI.
We know he has potential.
Right. And he probably doesn't go move the needle against UVA. Let's be honest. All right.
Right.
No disrespect, but it just, that would be like him playing against Virginia Tech last year. Yes, it's an ACC ball game. It would be on the road. I just don't see where it's going to change anyone's opinion and perspective if he goes and balls out against two teams that, quote unquote, he should ball out against. It just doesn't do anything. When you go play Louisville at home on that Friday night, if Brendan Armstrong is struggling, maybe that's when you go make the move because you're at home. You have that home environment to where it won't be hostile. There, yeah. So just my 2 cents on that. Do I think that he will get a look at? I do. And here's the other thing. That's game 5 at that point against Louisville. Coincidentally, it's about the same time he came in last year against Virginia Tech, was about that same time where he had time to learn that offense, and now he's got some confidence in it. Again, just my perspective on that, and I hope we don't see him. Like I hope Brendan in the offense figures this out, and we truly get to redshirt him and potentially have him for 3 years and go from there. But
And the last thing I'll add, and we'll get to and I'll let Michael wrap this topic up, and we'll get to some of these comments here finally, is that everybody's saying, well, you got to start preparing for the future. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing certain about the future in today's day and age. As much as it kills me to say it, you cannot say, well, let's go ahead and get this guy some experience for next time. Like, no. At the end of the day, every single guy on this roster, there is no contract. There is no guarantee that guy is going to be on this roster next year. So if MJ goes out and kills it this year, who's say Alabama won't come and offer him a stupid amount of money to go transfer to wherever? Like, it's unfortunately 100% situation. Yes, guy right here. There is no point to MJ redshirting. MJ will not be a starting quarterback for us in 2026. He will either live up to expectations to get drafted or not. Simple as that. I love it. Michael, wrap this topic up, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is where coaches get penalized for recruiting too well when you have multiple really good options. But I mean, I just can't. It was completely predictable that this was going to come out after this game against probably a top 10 team, for sure, a top 10 defense in the country. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to make a switch now.
Do we have this conversation?
Even have brought him in
by 7 points? Is it because we got blown up by 21 and then Brendan had 3 interceptions, even though one of them wasn't his fault,
and one was late.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and again, ladies and gentlemen, we will not go against as good of an all-around team as we just faced. Like, every single guy I'm looking at the rest of the season, there are questions. That Notre Dame team, pretty much from top to bottom, has really good players at almost every single position. Just like Michael was saying, they have a really great defense, and that offense is no joke. Go ahead.
I think they only had one sophomore, and he was a freshman and All-American last year. Everybody else was juniors or seniors. So
yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and finally get some of these comments. We appreciate y'all getting these comments in, so we need to get to them here. So Michelle coming in here saying they're now number 8 for a reason. Agreed there. All I read Saturday on the Tuffy Talk Discord was to stay sane. Absolutely, just stay sane, Wolfpack. We'll get there.
Stay sane.
Yeah, and then Aiden Ledford talking about the rain delay really took our fans and home field advantage out of it. Again, that's a great point that we've said, is that what if, like, because again, after we sacked Sam Hartman on the first drive, went 3 and out, it was blaringly loud. Imagine if that had continued. So again, that's why another thing too is the rain delay really killed it and really changed the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying we win that game, but I would like to have seen it played out where we had a full crowd. Yeah,
it would have made
no doubt. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Michelle, her daughter attending her first game as a student. Awesome to see. Nice. You got some fans in the Michael. Got some preach Michael in the chat. Love it. Yep. Droop saying need our older wide receivers to be older wide receivers. But love Casey and Juice.
That's
100% agree.
Lead the way.
Amen. Yep. And then Cameron Nance saying, please let us use Rosner more, but don't show too much because it's VMI. Again, they won't pull any kind of hats out of the bag or cats out of the bag against VMI. It's going to be basically everything that we've seen so far, but just hopefully a lot cleaner. And then Rusty asking the question, what is the biggest weakness at this time? What is the biggest strength at this time? So here, what we'll do just to make this a whole lot quicker, Greg, give me in your opinion, the biggest weakness, and then Michael, give me what you think is the biggest strength.
Biggest weakness, I would say our running game.
Okay, that's fair. Michael?
Just because, real quick, I'll give one.
Yeah, please.
You can control the clock, the tempo, the pace of the game. If you can run, you can then mix in your play action and some of these plays that where, Brendan looks like he's not in sync or whatever. You can get wide open guys, right? So I think that run game is really what's hurting us right now, or lack thereof.
That's fair. Michael, what you got for our biggest strength?
I mean, I'd say the defensive line right now. I mean, they've been really good. They Hibbler had a sack.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Potter recovered a fumble.
Brandon Cleveland.
I mean, and those are Brandon Cleveland. I mean, he didn't play much, but I think he had like 1 sack and a couple tackles for loss and like only
he
a
might
couple
be our
plays.
Next to Lee McNeil, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I think that's it, and it held up for the most part. The big runs. Well, the one big run that Notre Dame broke off, I think that was more of a linebacker secondary issue than a defensive line. But
and it kind of has, because we only run a 3-man front, right? So the job is the clog and the linebackers to clean.
Right.
So yeah, I would agree.
Josh pointing out how Michael Allen only had 1 carry in Notre Dame, and that's definitely a big question of what is going on there. And same thing with Trent Penix. Like, again, that was a guy in the preseason that like everybody was saying that guy's going to be an all-ACC caliber player, but he's been non-existent in 2 games.
Yeah, we know he was coming back for some injury, but still, is there something more there? Is that injury still persistent? Because you're right, Coach Dorn and Coach and I both sung his praise in this offense.
Yeah.
And tight ends in general, like we really haven't gotten the tight end position involved at all. The Seabros and the Toodles, and the Penix of the world. Like, what? I don't know. I mean, maybe we just need to go back to some basics on some of this stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It is frustrating.
Yeah, and then Doc Gibbs, kind of around the same topic, saying where are TJ McClendon, Shadrack, Mike Days, equivalent talent on today's teams
off there, but yeah.
Well, first thing I would say is I just don't think that Doran really goes after those guys. I just don't think it's a real focal point to have, that big lead guy. Now, I mean, I think that one thing which I'll say is I think that's changing now with like Jonathan Paylor, man, running back / wide receiver, out. But I don't know. Like, to me, I'm just not seeing a big focus recruiting wise on that big time stud running back, kind of more of a dual threat speed guy.
And that's not, I don't think that's unique. That's the running back is the least important offensive position in today's football. And
look how they're getting paid in the NFL, right? That bears that out. Yeah.
Yep. And then Drew saying here, I can live with KC making mistakes, not so much in the other guys. Absolutely. Again, you got to like big players make big plays in big games. Like, you need your big players to make big plays in big games. Simple as that. Andy, why did Michael Allen get only one touch? Don't know. We'll find out. And then Andy saying, I don't think anyone hated that drop more than KC. Absolutely. Like I don't know if you guys saw him on the sidelines. I was looking right at him from where I was sitting. But you could tell, like, after it happened, he was doing like this thing, and like maybe it was like a calming thing, but he was like breathing, like bringing like his hands like from his like waist to his neck and back down. Like you could tell he was doing some kind of a breathing technique, I'm sure, to calm himself down. So I definitely felt for him there, as I know he felt it bad. And Cameron saying, I'm thinking they'll start catching more passes. The good thing is they're getting open. Best thing is I don't really think they're getting a lot of separation though.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of plays where Brennan has gone through his progression, and like especially against Notre Dame, which I got to give a huge shout out to our offensive line. Again, the pass protection was phenomenal, but I haven't seen at least in my first two games that I've seen in person, I haven't seen him look one time or two times at a wide receiver, and then throw it. It's usually been 3, 4 scramble. Okay, I'll throw it to this guy. That's been a lot of it recently. So
yeah, he definitely didn't have the happy feet that he had against UConn. I mean, I think he definitely stayed in the pocket longer and tried to work through it and then pull when he had to. So, I mean, if you're looking for positives, I guess that's one. I mean, they don't always show up as like, hey, but I think it's just learning to trust your eyes, trust your players that they're going to be there where they're supposed to be to make plays. And I don't know. I think we try to be optimistic. I think I don't think the season's over. I mean, and we keep saying it. That was the number. Now the 8th team in the country. Look, the ACC is still open for grabs. We still have
super open.
We still have things to play for. But it's this weekend where you need to start seeing some changes. And I think the other thing people are frustrated with is you're seeing the same things from game 1 to game 2, and then they haven't been quote unquote cleaned up or fixed. So maybe that leads to some of the people's frustrations that they're that we haven't flipped the switch on and now we got it all working like a well-oiled machine.
Yep. Doc asking the question, is MJ quote unquote injury prone? Since he's our backup, if he gets hurt, then where are we? I think that one of the things is that I went into it is I think that Doran and then felt very confident in Brennan's toughness and I mean again that he's played so much football, and I mean like he's a guy that even last year he proved that he could play through injuries, so
he just really hasn't gotten injured that much, like
yeah. So I mean, like I just think it's kind of a thing where he just decided to focus more on other areas than finding a third backup spot. It's just I think it's kind of one of those things too where it's like on a roulette wheel. Like if it hits one number once, like what's the odds of you betting on that number again? Because the odds of that number hitting twice back to back are very, very small. So it's like, if we played our third string quarterback last year, what's really the odds of us meeting our third string quarterback again this year? Like, not saying that should mean anything, but I mean, just in my head, that's why I'm thinking about being like, there's no way that can happen to us again, right? Like that rarely happens to college football, but it's going to happen to us 2 years in a row. But no one else would totally happen because that'd be some NC State boop. So, Rusty asked the question: Dave Doran gets criticism for poor clock management. Is this warranted?
I mean, there was some questionable stuff though, right? With the calling timeout just to decide to punt and then kind of eating it towards the end and get that big play to midfield and then it's.
I feel like every coach gets criticized for that though.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of it's hindsight 2020.
It's
a lot
easy.
of it's
Because if you don't make that catch, then it's not. What I mean?
Then
There's
it's
not.
like then nobody talks about it. Exactly.
Right. But again, I think it goes back to Coach Doran's philosophy as a whole. He's a very conservative coach, and we know that after 10 years, and so it shouldn't surprise you because conservatism in that regard definitely goes to.
Oh, your daggone mic went out again. Jeez. No. Well, and again, so it's it's. I mean, I there's probably every single coach in the history of coaching has gotten criticized for poor clock management at one point or another. It's a tough thing for sure. There's no, there's no correct answer. It's just what your gut tells you, what the analytics tells you, and that's what you go with. I know with Dorn, he's big on analytics. So, and D-Roop bring in the comment saying, going to have to bring in the best quarterback possible next year in the floor as well. But see, that's the thing. That's another reason why I'm saying you should play Brennan, because you're kind of keeping MJ off the map. Nobody's looking at MJ right now because he's not playing. So, I mean, like, what's the chances of, a program who can afford to pay him enough to take him away from us saying, I'm going to go give this guy all this money who was on the bench all season. So, I mean, that's kind of a small victory side of it is, it's a way to think about it is, I mean, if Brennan plays the whole season, it's a 99.9999999% likelihood you're going to see MJ as starting quarterback next season. So, right. 2 cents there. And then, Greg, I want to get your thoughts, but I mean, I do got to give a huge shout out. The fans were absolutely phenomenal for sure. As I was very surprised by the turnout after the delay. I mean, I really thought it was going to be a third full. I thought it was going to be very obvious that there was a lot of people that left, but I mean, it was a good 3/4 full, 2/3, 3/4 full, man. Like, it was like there was spots, but it wasn't like, man, look at that empty section. Like, it really wasn't like that after the delay.
Yeah, the biggest empty spot was the student section, obviously in the corner. But other than that, I thought people showed up really well. If you hung and you came back to the game, it was pretty much clear. Like, as soon as we got back in the stadium within the first 15 minutes, I don't think the sun was out the whole time. It didn't stop me from not drying out because I was still wet when I left that game. But I was impressed. I really was. I thought to your same point that we would have maybe 25 to 35,000. It almost looked like the UConn game, but I would still say there was about 45,000 in there, and they were still loud. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There was moments where the crowd got up, and especially when that fumble happened late in the third quarter, I thought the place was rocking. But yeah, I mean, it's still frustrating though. I mean, it doesn't take away the sting, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now I do want to bring up so Scott Furr mentioned in the comment, don't kid yourself. People are looking at MJ. He isn't a secret. OCs and QB coaches know that the tools that kid has and his potential. But so here's my thing is that for, we don't know his numbers of what he's making here NIL wise. But I'm sitting here saying it would take a significant increase in terms of money opportunity for him to leave when he's on, like he's been here to get ready to be the starting quarterback. Like, and so for him to basically waste the time that he, was here, because now he's gonna have to go somewhere else, learn a new offense, learn the coaches, learn the players, learn the environment. So he's gonna go through all that. It better be a significant pay bump. Like that's kind of my 2 cents. And so is anybody really going to give him that significant pay bump when you haven't seen him start this season? Like that's my 2 cents on it. Like, that kid's got great potential, but you still don't know. You still don't know.
Yeah.
It is like you're looking into a glass ball. That's really what you're doing with MJ. Like, you see it there. It has diamonds all around it, but it's pretty for sure, but you still don't know. So, Michael, give me anything to add to that?
No, you nailed it.
All right, sweetness. And then he was our QB3. Is it Lex? I would say so.
Technically,
I mean, God forbid we never find out. And
if any team gets their third quarterback, they're not
right
winning.
Right. It's just yeah. But again, unless you're Dave Dorn, like last year, like just saying. So, and then it says a lot about our fan base. So many returned, absolutely. So, all right, y'all. So, wanted to kind of really quickly touch on one thing as we kind of move back to that question we originally were talking about. I want to get your thoughts on the band moving to the other side. I did not like it whatsoever. I understand the thought process behind it because there were so many students that would, sneak into the marching band area, and it was, getting in the way of, the people who pay tickets for the area, things like that. But it just wasn't as loud. And also, I didn't like it either because they still had the microphone set up, and there's still a speaker that's set up to play over the student section on the Murphy Center side. And so literally you'd hear the band play and then you hear like an echo from that speaker over there. And so it just didn't sound right. It wasn't as loud. Like, I didn't like it, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, even with the band. So now the band is on my end of the field, and I felt, and maybe I don't know, I'm weird. It felt loud. The band was louder on the other end of the field than where now that they're on my end of the field. It didn't seem as loud, and I guess the one thing that you folks can do if they didn't like anything, NC State does send out a fan survey. Fill those things out. Apparently, they've made changes due to people's input. So not saying that it probably will ever change again, but you never know. If you feel strongly, submit an opinion on the survey and see what happens. But yeah, it was the dynamics of it definitely was weird.
Well, because my mom's in here saying the student section was lost without the band, and I do agree that I feel like the student section kind of relies on the band to like look at them and figure out like what's going on, things like that, like the cues.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
like the don't.
Yeah,
like it just you see the band doing it, and then the student's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, but don't. So I and it's like now you don't have the. I can't remember his last name, but Chris, the guy that was like, guy's doctorate, literally used to be the, leader of the student section at every single state athletic event. Like you don't have like a leader of the student section anymore, like telling the student section what to do. So yeah, I do agree. It's kind of lost now. So I say either move the band back or let's find a way to make a new leader of the student section that can, yell out what to do and things like that. So
Kathy Smith coming in hot with the name.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah, and then D-Rip asking, how about the scoreboard get hit with lightning? That was par for the course for mistake.
So
it doesn't
I'm
appear to be
hearing that
damaged.
it didn't get hit by lightning.
Yeah.
So
that was the reports from some WRAL reporters I saw that they clarified it did not get hit, but there was at least
close,
like a surge or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, it's fine. I'm sure just with when the electricity, turned off and back on, I'm sure that again, because there's so much power running through, I think it just shuts off. Like it's not like lights where it just goes off and comes right back on. Like it probably just shuts off automatically. It doesn't even try to get back up.
There was a dude up top though during the game working on it.
Really?
Yeah, I saw someone took a picture of it, and you can see like a little ant up there working on it. So I do know that there was like a big old block of it not working, and then that block just kept getting smaller through the rest of the game, and by about the halfway through the fourth quarter it was fully back. So I think we'll be good. But let's talk about the pregame. Can we talk about the pregame video show on that? Because I thought that was pretty cool.
That was awesome. Yeah. No, it was unbelievable.
Obviously I didn't see it, but yeah.
Have you seen the video? Have you seen the video of it?
No, did they put it out? Oh, okay.
Come on, man. Tuffy talk, man.
Well, yeah. And
I told you, I did the same thing. I was off social media after that game.
Yeah. I kind of mentioned in our Discord, and I don't know how we get this to happen, but they do the Law of the Jungle, speech slowly. And I think, man, it builds beautifully. If we could get the crowd to go for the strength of the pack is the wolf and the wolf is the pack. If you do that to get the crowd going, and then you get the intro to the crowd the team coming in, you might have something there. I mean, I don't know how you get everyone to do the chant together, but I was like, I see goosebumps here.
Well, and see, this is my other thing too. I think our first night game of the season will be Louisville, and man, that first night game with that dude, it's gonna be absolutely sick. It's gonna be so sick. All like having the light show combined with the scoreboard, combined with the new sound system, like, dude, it's gonna be unreal. And anybody knows too how when Mr. and Mrs. Wolf came out on the hat, how now it has smoke blowing out, or smoke blowing out the back of it now, like even that's changed too. I'm like, man, there's a lot of changes from last season this season. Like the marching band pregame show changed a ton. Like it used to be the same marching band pregame show for like decades, and now it's completely different. Like it's it's a completely different experience in Carter Finley, ladies and gentlemen. Completely different in my opinion.
And the whole thing too, Saturday was weird because they didn't open the gates on time, and then it just caused a mass backup for people trying to get in. It was definitely some first game kinks, right? And I think they'll work those out. And by the way, did you notice there's new metal detectors coming in the stadium now? Like did they do bag searches for you guys on your side of the stadium? Like there was like no bag searches, and so I think those new metal detectors can tell what's like in the bags.
And then my mom bringing up, what's up with that wolf house? Did you guys see that, or did you see that, Greg? How they had like they're like a doghouse looking thing beside the entrance for the visitor team. If and let me know in the comments, y'all, if y'all saw this too. But there's literally what looks like a big doghouse.
That's Tuffy's.
For Tuffy?
Yeah, it's like the Wolf House.
Tuffy 3?
Yeah, it is called the Wolf House. And so I don't know if Tuffy 3 is housed in there, but if anybody has any, like insight on that, I'm very curious.
Yeah,
I saw that and I was like, I did, and I should have totally.
Yeah, I couldn't see it from where I was at. No, I'll look for it. I'll look for it on Saturday.
Yeah. And then what else? There's one other thing.
Real quick, I really liked about the game, the in-game production, was you could see the players, like they were like focusing in on the players, like in between plays, like coming into the in and out of the huddle. So I thought there was some really nice in-game live action between the plays. Definitely like the out of town scores. You could see more of those. The stats, I liked those. Because cell service still stinks in Carter Finley after all these years, even though they've had 40 upgrades. I can never get stats or scores, so that was a nice to have.
Yeah, well, and and the other thing too, which I wanted to I forgot about too, which Michelle brought up, was the Holt brothers doing the chant,
the Wolfpack chant, the
Wolfpack chant. I loved it. It was cool. With me, my wife being a South Carolina grad, they do that for the, Gamecocks or whatever. And so my wife laughed when I told her that we were doing that. But I'm honestly very curious, like each week, who they're going to do. Like, I mean, I would be
who do you get?
Like if you see like a Garrett Bradbury or, Bradley Chubb coming back to do it one week, you see Phillip Rivers doing it. Like, do you see,
is it just football players?
Right. Yeah. I would assume.
I mean,
it is only ever going to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. Right. My question is it going to just be football players?
It's only going to be.
Yeah. Or do we see other North Carolina State legends?
Oh, I would love to see Ellie Avon do it.
Yeah, whatever, right? Kind of like the siren horn for the Canes, right? Maybe something like similar to that, where they just get people that are associated with the team or NC State in general. Maybe Chancellor Woodson does it one time. That would be kind of cool to see, a different side of his personality. I don't know. Maybe Scotty McCreery. Like, there's all kinds of cool people that you could have.
Would be cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. I like it. All righty, y'all. We are 50 minutes in. We have gotten to 0 tweets of the week, which is okay. I mean, I think we've pretty much talked
the
Notre Dame game. I think we've talked Notre Dame off, so I think we'll kind of skip most of the Notre Dame ones because I think we've talked that points to death. So let's jump on over some. You know what? You know what? Before we wrap this up, we have a Tuffy's mailbag, so we're going to talk to that question since this person was good enough to submit it. So let's jump on over to Tuffy's mailbag, y'all. All righty. Let me pull it right up.
Hey, while you're doing that real quick. Okay, you're good. No, go ahead. If you got your, go ahead.
Go for it, please.
I'd like this comment because whoever this Joe Naismith guy is, that like, I don't know who's Joe Naismith. Is that Joe Namath? Oh, Joe Namath. I can't even read tonight. My goodness. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, Joe Namath. He's like 80 years old. He has no idea what he's talking about. We didn't schedule that game. The ACC does. So
yeah, we have no choice. We sold out every other game before that game we played.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that was one of my tweets of the week. But once again, like we sold out literally every single ticket of all of our home games before the first home game even began.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking Naismith because I was at the Naismith Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago. So I just read it as Naismith, not Namath. Hello. All right. Anyway, pull up your mailbag.
And Josh brought too. Big T would be really cool to do it one time too.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, he's saying Terquavion was there. I saw that tweet too.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball team like hanging out. He's playing in the NBA and he's coming back.
You see, he was still wearing his jersey. You see, he was still wearing his jersey at the game. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So Tuffy's mailbag. Here we go. So what corrections? Oh my God, did it again. What corrections do you think our coaches can make on both sides of the ball going? I took me off. My fault. So
Cut the PowerPoint off and then cut you off.
Yeah, right. So to help save with time. So since Greg, I put you on the spot first, and Michael second. Michael put you on the spot first. So offense, what is the one change you think that Doran needs to make going forward? And obviously, Greg, you have time to think.
You gotta narrow down the receivers. I think you're still playing, which I think it was always going to happen. I mean, I think 8 different receivers got snaps yesterday. And I think you got to narrow that down to 5, maybe 6 of just your reliable guys that give you the best upside.
Yeah, or just consistency, whatever it takes, you know?
Yeah, consistency, yeah.
All right, Greg, how do we limit these big plays, my man? What's the biggest change defense needs to make? Fire Tony Gibson?
No, no, that's the first direction. You know what? Just go back to West Virginia. No, right. I'm paraphrasing here, but I guess it was reported. And my friend texted to me that basically, and Michael, if you watch the game, you might have the quote better. But basically, if your heart's not in it, and if you're not willing to put in the effort, just go home now. Something to that effect.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't remember the exact. But there was Davin Van. They said was calling people out on the sidelines, and then Peyton Wilson definitely was in his post game press conference.
I love it. Oh my God, Greg, I did it again. Dang nabbit. Greg, jump right back in here, but I do got to give a shout out that Parker pointing out, again, Rosner, I think needs to become one of those 5. Get him involved more. So
he will.
Yeah. Greg, you back? Go ahead. Yep. Not yet. Okay. Yeah. And then D Rube saying, yeah, Peyton Wilson did say that. And again, because I love that's the thing for me that makes me so, still feeling very, very good about this team moving forward is the fact there is so much leadership. Like I have all the confidence in the world in Peyton Wilson, Davin Van. These guys are going to get it right. Like I have all the confidence in the world in that. And then offensively, I'm sitting here saying, hey, you have 2 games to figure it out, and then you're going to be starting with the meat of the ACC schedule. So, I'm sitting here saying there's no doubt in my mind that our offense within 2 weeks from now is going to look a lot different than it does right now. It's going to look a lot different. It's going to change. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Yep. And then go ahead, Michael.
Well, since Greg got cut off there on defense, it's just, for me, it's just fixing the mental mistakes, which that comes with experience. I mean, Sean Brown, Boykin, Betty, Jalen Scott, all in their first years of starting. They're athletically and physically they fit on the field, but it just takes that experience to get the mental reps. Absolutely. And fix some of those issues.
Absolutely. Greg, I know we missed you, man, but anything you'd add on to it besides the mental errors on the defensive side?
Yeah, I just think that's what it is. I don't think it's schema or schematically an issue. It's just, the want to. You need to have that desire to go out and make plays and trust your coaches, and that they're going to put you in the best position to make plays. And if you're not going to listen to your coaches and get coached up, then there's no need for you to be out on the field.
Yep, absolutely. Completely agree there. All righty, y'all. So I think we have hit this Notre Dame topic to death. So we're going to move on to a couple other things that my mom brings up. Our next one. We can't even do that, though, because we got to move. We got to transition Tuffy's tweets of the week, y'all. So here we go. All right. Now, yes, unfortunate news here today as we have learned that starting free safety Jakeem Harris will miss the remainder of the season with a torn pec, which he suffered early in week 1 versus UConn. So definitely feel for Jakeem for sure. And, between him and our offensive lineman, Jaramillo, Dawson Jaramillo, Definitely not what you want to see. And that's why Wolfpack Nation, ladies and gentlemen, I always say it is the toughest thing in the world. It is impossible to predict how football season is going to go because there is no sport in all of sports that you see as many injuries and turnover as you do in football. Like, it is guaranteed. If you don't have somebody that's not knocked out, if you don't have anybody that's knocked out for the season at all during a football season, then you have some magic dust on you. Like, it's just the unfortunate, just aggressiveness of the game. It's just waiting for somebody to get rolled up on and tear an ACL, unfortunately, or in this case where he just got a interesting fall. He just fell weird and obviously it tore his pec. So it's unfortunate for sure. So our thoughts and prayers go to Shaquille and hope that he has a speedy recovery, and we know that he will be a huge leader for us on the sidelines. Go ahead, Greg. I think we're trying.
Yeah, you could just tell something. I could see him walking around with a sling on Saturday, so it obviously looked like it was going to be not a week-to-week injury, and then obviously the news comes out today that it's a season-ending injury. So definitely prayers up, and now he just becomes a vocal leader on the sidelines and an extra coach to get his guys coached up.
Which I do got to give a shout out, though. I think I've noticed with Doran that he definitely has a trend of playing something off as, he's fine, he's playing week to week, but then he's out for the season. AKA Devin Leary, how he was like, he could play against Syracuse last year, we'll see, and then he doesn't play.
I think that's just gamesmanship, so the other team can't prepare.
Right.
And that's the thing about the college. You're not required to disclose injuries like you are the NFL. So it's
right.
And some of that they may just not know right initially.
Right, testing
you don't know. Yeah. You gotta wait for stuff to come back and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Second opinions and
100%. So now I want to, before I bring up this next tweet of the week, which kind of rolls right into this, today, excuse me, we released part 1 of our NC State Ice Pack preview. So if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to go and do it. As I can tell you once and for all, Wolfpack Nation, that if you have not become a fan of the NC State Ice Pack, this is the season. Do it. I'm telling you right now, from everything from the first game I saw against ECU on Friday night, this team is different, folks.
Beat it by 2 touchdowns.
They won by 2 touchdowns against ECU, 17-3 over ECU. But, man, they are fast. They are talented, man. Like, I love this team. I am super excited to see what this team can do. So make sure to go. And then also, too, because if you haven't heard already, which is, if you're not, that means you're just not following us on YouTube or Twitter. So make sure to go do that, or TikTok or Instagram. But we have 2 tickets and a parking pass once again up for grabs for VMI. So the first thing which I gotta say is to enter, all you have to do is we have to hit a 50 like threshold for part 1 of the NC State Ice Pack preview. So whether you are going to enter, or even if you're not going to interview, please do us a big favor and go check out that video, hit that like button so we can hit that 50 like threshold. So that way we can give away these tickets and the parking pass. But again, to enter, all you have to do is just be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, which is free to do. You can do it right now. And then just comment down below in the Ice Pack preview part 1, and we will pick one lucky winner on Thursday night to win the 2 tickets to parking pass. Go ahead, Greg.
I would say the winner of last week stopped by my tailgate and thanked us.
Cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, he had a good time, and he and his buddy came out, and it was really nice meeting them. So congrats on that. And my wife was the person who chose the winner. So you guys be creative in your comments, because she got a good laugh out of it. So whoever picks, we like the fun and good comments, not just, hey, pick me. I can pretty much promise you that you're not going to get the tickets if you just want to say pick me. So we want to know that you're following and having a good time along with us.
Yeah, and I do got to talk about this comment right here. Don't think there's a true State fan alum out there who would accept mediocrity. The biggest thing I just have to remind people is we're not mediocre. Like, we're not average.
Yeah, people don't understand what mediocre means.
Like, we're not BC.
Well, dude,
I don't know if BC is even mediocrity.
No,
the definition.
Mediocre, the definition of only moderate quality, not very good.
Yeah. So I'm saying, I think that's what I'm saying. I think BC is mediocre. Like, Like
again, if you really are taking a loss to a number 10 team in the country against Notre Dame and saying that we're mediocre because we lost by 21, but at one point early in the fourth quarter we're only down by 7 with opportunity to tie, like, come on, no. Yeah. We are in the top third, and again, I say this once again, there's not 10 teams, there's not 10 programs in the whole country that have a better culture than we do. I am saying that. I will die on that stone. I'm telling you that right now, that we have an amazing culture. Players, coaches love this program. And the fact that, once again, we sold out of all of our season tickets before the first game even started. NC State fans love this team right now. So that's what I'm saying is like how much more can you really ask? You know, like yes, we want to win AC championship. No doubt about it. But that's the only thing.
Not winning a championship also doesn't mean you're mediocre.
No. And especially because, again, I mean, there's only been 3 teams in all of the ACC in the last 13 years that have won AC championship. Of the 14 teams that are involved in ACC, only 3 of them have won an ACC championship over the last 13 years.
Yeah.
So
and only 2 of them have won it multiple times.
Yeah, no, because only Pitt won it one time. But other than that, it's been Florida State or Clemson. So. Yep.
Both from the Atlantic. So
yeah. All right. Anyway, bring it back in. So now back to our Tuffy's tweet of the week here. Got to give a huge shout out here as man, I was shocked. I was watching it on TV as I was just sitting there. I just couldn't bring myself to go into the game and staying up to 11 o'clock and then having to get up at 5 a.m. to go to a 7 a.m. tailgate. I just couldn't do it. But right. I know. So, but man, like seeing how long the line was to get into Invisalign Arena and seeing, I mean, how absolutely packed it was, man. Like it was awesome. Like I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, like there's a lot of people that have gotten on the bandwagon, and don't be too late to jump on. Like get on it right now, because you are missing out if you don't.
How many people does that hold? Just out of curiosity, I have no idea.
Hold or like I guarantee.
Like how many people can sit in there? Like, you know, how many people?
How much is legally allowed? I guarantee you is less than how many were actually there. Yeah,
that's fair.
No, I mean, look at that bottom picture. I know you can't see that well, but there is no space to walk.
No,
right there.
No, there's none. Yeah, I was just curious how many it holds. I think it's I know it's several thousand for sure.
It's a few thousand. Yeah, but maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I was going to say 2,500 maybe.
That's what I was kind of thinking, somewhere around that number. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but and because the funny thing too is that on one side, you can't see it, so I can't really say it, but on the far side of the rink, usually that part of the glass is like closed off because I guess they don't want fans close to where the ice packs
players are
walk from the locker room is or whatever. But now they have fans standing over there. Like I think that was honestly just we need more room to put these people, you know, and so. Again, so I gotta say this again, that if you haven't checked out the Ice Pack preview, we talked about the Frozen Finley game, the impact of it. We talked about what's going to be different about this team, and again, just go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Parker saying I was at a game last year and they had a fire code violation. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Well, thankfully there's water there, so they should be okay.
yeah.
That's awesome though.
So, yeah. Absolutely.
I think it's always been a program that's, you know, continuously just gotten bigger and bigger, you know, and I think they've won and competed for championships. I think last year that whole Frozen Finley, I think it just took the program to a whole nother level, and that they're definitely seeing the benefits and reaping the success from those types of events, especially when they play at PNC and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now let's move on to our next tweet of the week here. Got to give a shout out to our boy Jacoby Myers, man, for absolutely balling out yesterday. And I want to say huge congratulations for myself for selecting him 6th overall in my fantasy football draft, man. Selecting Jacoby Myers has absolutely paid off. Just beautiful, man.
You did not select him 6th overall.
No, shoot. Are you kidding me? No. You know
I got to call shenanigans.
Yeah, no. But I
don't know. That's week 1. That's a good steal, that's man. Worth that's worth the 6th overall pick.
Yeah, he's on track for 34 touchdowns. We get it.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but again, I mean, 9 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns, man. I know that he was dealing with the injury late in the
concussion,
game. Concussion, but man, I just still can't help but try and wrap my head around how this guy came in as like a 3-star quarterback. he was talked to about getting an offer from Florida, but he ended up not getting it, so he came to state. Like, man, like it's crazy to think about how far this guy's come and how now he's one of the top 40 wide receivers in the NFL, give or take. I mean,
probably.
Like, just think off the top of my head. 40?
I just don't understand why the Patriots of all people gave up on him and got Juju Smith over him. It just baffles me, but whatever.
They probably didn't want to pay him because he signed.
They paid the same. They signed for the same contract.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, it was like within like $1 million or $2 million of each other. It wasn't drastic, but
yeah, love it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
good for him. I think he just got paid like $35 million. So
yeah, he got paid good. He got paid good, no doubt about it. All right, so let's move on here to our next tweet of the week here. Got to give a shout out to a golfer of all people.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Greg, say her name. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lauren Olivia. I can't even see it, but it's Leon is her last name.
Leon, yeah.
Oliveris, I think is how you say it.
Lauren Oliveris, Leon. I like it. I like that. All right, go. Lauren Oliveris, Leon. Yep.
Leon probably. It's
Leon.
It's Spanish probably.
Who shot a 60, which is a NCAA record for the lowest individual round, and shot a minus 11. Had 10 birdies out of 18 holes.
She had 2 bogeys too, which is crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's how much on fire she was.
NCAA record. So that's like in what, at that course or
no? Like the lowest individual score of a round in women's golf history is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So yeah, it's so got to give a huge shout out to you for Lauren, man. I mean, just can't say enough, ladies and gentlemen, that please go support these other sports, man. Like like volleyball just won their tournament in Ohio over the weekend.
They're 8-1.
Yep. Men's soccer started off really, really strong. So Wolfpack Nation, ladies and gentlemen, just go please support these. And also, I think men's soccer, they broke an attendance record actually last week as well. So I mean, again, y'all go support these teams. They
women's
deserve
cross
it.
country gets started on Friday, so defending national champions there.
And that's another thing too. I felt bad that they didn't honor Caitlin Toohey before the rain, because I really that girl deserves a standing ovation. And unfortunately, by that point, it was right after the delay. It was it was literally the first stoppage that they honored Caitlin Toohey, and it was definitely not the ovation that she deserved.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten back in the stadium by that point, so it's just
exactly. So Infinite Hate pointing out here, only home cross country meet of the season this Friday, September 15th at Wake Med Soccer Park. Women's race starts at 6:20. So hey, if you want to go see Caitlin Toohey and the GOAT for in-state athletics, go support her in the cross country team.
I might go check that out on a Friday. I'll be back in town, so maybe I'll go do that.
Exactly, I love it. All right, now let me cue up the next tweet of the week here. It's perfect that Michael would go away, because guess what, Greg? This is probably something that you and I will mainly talk about anyway. So perfect timing there, Michael.
He's like, I'm out.
So Flow rankings came out, and NC State Wrestling has, I'm counting here, has 6 wrestlers in the top 10.
Yep.
Which is phenomenal for sure.
Is, I guess, preseason All-American essentially, right?
Yeah, well, technically for this NCAA tournament, you have to get top 8 to be
top 8. Okay.
All-American. So that means you have 6 of them that are top 10. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. Okay, 6. Yeah, so there's one wrestler that's not ranked in the top 25 somewhere, which I can't think
7
who it is.
7 that are top.
But anyway, but I mean, I wasn't really shocked at Camacho number 8, which I think it's interesting how they are assuming that Camacho, or that they're putting Camacho when we're still trying to figure out what's going on with the other 25 that one they see last year. Trombley, Jarrett Trombley, is that his name? Trombley, I think it's Trombley.
Yeah, Trombley's not, or and then what's his name?
Yeah, Trombley.
And then what about Trumbull? Did he graduate?
Remember, they're using his medical red shirt. See that's
that's right. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Or no, not medical. They're using his Olympic red shirt because he's competing for Team USA this year.
That's right. That's right.
So they're going to use him. Dylan Fishback. That's the guy who's taking over for for Trumbull this year. So he's the guy that's not ranked in the top 25 right now, which he will be by the end of the season. They are excited about Dylan Fish back, and he has been impressive for sure. Yep. So
we'll get it.
So yeah, but I mean, again, seeing 6 wrestlers in the top 10, all of them in American preseason All-American is awesome. And I mean, again, the fact that Trent Hiley at number 5, like, I don't think he's been that low. And again, I'm saying that low, number 5, since his freshman year. He's always been
the same weight class as he was last year. Was he 197 last year? I thought he was
184. He moved.
That's what I thought.
197.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
That's probably
he moved up. A lot of people say to because the guy who he's lost to the last 2 years at nationals from the guy from Penn State, he also moved up to 197. So a lot of people say he moved up because of him, but I've talked to Coach Pop enough to to go for certain that it was mostly because, just like with Hidley, how Hidley moved up, it's more of his natural weight. So just trying to stay below a certain weight for so long can really do a number, and he's just tired of it.
It's tough to make that weight every week.
Exactly. I mean, I can't even imagine losing a couple pounds, much less trying to keep pounds off. You know what I mean? So
I embrace all of this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This is what you get, right? But anyway, so yeah, very, very excited about wrestling this year, folks. I mean, State once again will be a preseason top 5 team in the country, probably.
I was gonna say, have they done the team rankings yet, or no, not yet?
It's probably next week or two. Yeah,
you have 6 wrestlers in the top 8. You gotta be top 5 preseason for sure.
Yeah,
so you would assume. But I mean, anyway, so
yeah, the other wrestling thing, they dropped their rankings too, and it was pretty much spot on. They were pretty much
Intermat wrestling.
Intermat, thank you. Yeah, yeah, they were pretty much 1 for 1.
Yeah. Doc's saying here too, State has a great fan base, second to none by our football culture as a brand. It's not marketed because a lot of football talking heads think UNC's a college football blue blood.
It's true.
Thank you. Good job, Doc. Can't say much more than that. True. Thank you.
Mic drop. Walk on out.
Mic drop. All right, and then last one here, last week of the week here before we wrap this thing up. Longtime editor for the Wolfpacker, Matt Carter, is moving on from the Wolfpacker, and he says, and I quote, "Not goodbye, but see you around." So, huge shout out to Matt Carter. Thank you so much, Matt, for all you did for In-State, man. You've been following In-State for quite some time, and got to give you your due props, man, for sure. So,
I'm
a big fan of yours.
Yeah, one of the OGs of modern day NC State coverage. He's been around since the early 2000s, I think 2003, 2004. So a guy that's been around for almost 20 years. So he's seen a thing and done a thing.
They couldn't have used a better picture for him on his farewell.
Yeah, it's not the best picture. Yeah, I agree. I agree, but it's
maybe there's an inside story to that picture.
Maybe. Yeah. But it looks like they took a picture of the basketball team and just like cropped it.
The photoshopped him in there.
Yeah,
he really wasn't there.
Yeah, but also, I mean, how many photographers are really taking pictures of media members during games, right? So that's the other thing there.
Matt, we're gonna just green screen you here, so just grab a camera and just look like you're doing something.
Exactly. But anyway, y'all. Well, so once again, two things. Once again, if you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we release any new In-State content, and that way you're one step closer to entering for the 2 free tickets for VMI and the free parking pass, y'all, free of charge, and you can get it. All you have to do to enter is, again, make sure we hit that 50-like goal for the In-State Ice Pack Season Preview Part 1, and then make sure you're a subscriber, and then comment down in that video, and we will pick a winner Thursday night to win that amazing prize. And then for us, make sure you follow us on Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, as we have an exciting announcement. We have a huge event coming up here on Saturday, which you will not want to miss out on. We will have some current NC State players at this event. We may have some free food, and we may have some opportunities for you to get some more free food after the game as well. So again, a lot on the line. I mean, I don't know any State fan who's going to say no to free food or meeting current NC State players, right? I mean, I can't think of one. So make sure to stay tuned for that, y'all, as that is going to be a huge thing for sure. And yeah, D-Roop saying throw a like in. Even if you already have tickets, you're saying, nah, I don't need them. Hit the like button anyway and help it out. Again, it goes a long way. We'd appreciate it for sure to really help support us as well. But thank you all so much for tuning in. This was a good time, and hopefully, once again, Wolfpack Nation, breathe in, Breathe out. It's going to be okay. 2 games in. We have 10 guaranteed games left. We have a lot of football left, ladies and
gentlemen.
We get right this Saturday. We blow out VMI. We get ready for Virginia, baby. All right. 1-0 on the week. It starts right now. Let's get it done. We'll see y'all soon. Go check out Ice Pack Preview and go Pack, y'all, baby.
Let's go on to VMI.